Topping today's news, police investigating several shooting incidents as we enter the weekend. Who is responsible for the failures at BPL, PLP, or the F&M? We hear from both sides. A fourth man charged in the $9 million Long Island drug bust, and the Jubilee Bahamas Games climaxing on Saturday. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jarino Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News. It is a pleasure to have you join us. Two males are in hospital with injuries after being shot in two separate incidents on Thursday. A busy start to the weekend for criminal investigators who have launched investigations into these incidents. A 33-year-old male of Zion Boulevard was the first victim, shot in broad daylight. Police are on the hunt for the two men responsible. According to reports, the man was working and doing repairs on a home on Emmanuel Drive off Cowpen Road when he was approached by the men who shot him multiple times about the body. He was taken to hospital via EMS personnel, where he is listed in serious condition. Then shortly before 8 p.m., while in western New Providence, a 32-year-old male was also shot multiple times upon arrival at his home. Police reports indicating that the victim was approached and shot by occupants of a white van. He was taken to hospital in a private vehicle where his condition is also listed as serious. Police are appealing to members of the public who may have any information on these shootings to contact the police at 911-919 or anonymously at 328-TIPS, 328-8477. In other news, police are aggressively investigating the circumstances surrounding the discovery of human remains found on a dirt road in the Carmichael Road area on Wednesday night. Preliminary information revealing that sometime around 8:05 p.m., the lifeless body of an unknown male was discovered. However, police did not say how the man died. They are appealing to members of the public who may have any information that can assist them with this discovery, once again, to contact the police at 911-919 or anonymously at 328-TIPS. That's 328-8477. Minister of National Security Wayne Munro giving an update on the mentally ill inmate who was found unresponsive in his prison cell at the Bahamas Department of Corrections on June 23rd. While speaking with reporters on Thursday afternoon in the lobby of the National Security Building, Minister Munro noted that the victim's cellmate is currently a part of that investigation.
It was blunt force injuries to the head. He was in a cell with another prisoner, so that prisoner, no doubt, would be a suspect for the matter. And this continues to be a vexing problem in the prison. The
59-year-old was on remand for vagrancy. This is not the first inmate found dead in a cell at the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services. It is against that backdrop that Minister Munro asserts the importance for the new correctional facility.
You're aware that we are taking steps to seek to build a proper correctional facility with a proper mental health, secure mental health wing, mental health ward and clinic. Many of the issues surround the mentally challenged. And so it is a matter of concern. It's a matter of concern that the government is seeking to address by moving ahead with the correctional facility. It has been in the works, as you would have been told, from the time that Cynthia Mother Pratt was the Minister of National Security, and it's evolved to where it is now. Today, it is recognized that you need special cells to hold persons who have mental challenges, that you need a facility on the compound to properly treat people who are mentally challenged now, given the Mental Health Act.
Minister Munro said due to complaints made by the hospital and the officials at the Princess Margaret Hospital about inmates being transported to PMH for medical emergencies, the new correctional facility will be outfitted with its own emergency center. The blame game between the Progressive Liberal Party and the Free National Movement over the many years of struggles at the Bahamas Power and Light continued when members of Parliament returned to the House of Assembly on Wednesday. Although debate centered around the Notary's Public Amendments Bill 2022, BPL was a major focus, with the Member of Parliament for Angliston, Glenys Hannah Martin, scolding the official opposition for its constant attacks on the Davis administration handling of BPL, which the opposition says has resulted in increased electricity costs and frequent power outages. She described their actions as disingenuous.
I hear St. Barnabas and Kalani and come on, and I also heard the former minister. And I said, Lord have mercy, what is happening with our institutional recollection, historical recollection of BPL under the FNM? It was the most chaotic, disastrous, shady, suspect oversight of BPL that I think the nation has ever seen. I made 1 or 2 notes about it. I'll make some notes. First of all, you had the mysterious fire. Remember that fire? And we know what happened there, but remember the fire? And the insurers? You had the mysterious fire. Then you had an entire board, the board, the chairman, everybody gone. Everybody quit BPL under the Free National Movement. And what the chairman said at the time was that there were concerns about transparency, about with the operations, what was going on there. And as the member for South Beach has said, a lot of these issues are historical, they've been sustained, and the former administration made a bad situation worse. That's what has to be understood here. A bad situation. You can't mash it up and then come the next day when you ain't got power no more, walking around and say, oh, you ain't do this, you ain't, as if you are some great proprietors of some great intelligence on energy and electricity in this country.
Hannah Martin, who is also the Minister of Education, Technical and Vocational Training, commended the Davis administration for its efforts to improve power, especially when it comes to renewable energy. She reminded that the Davis administration inherited a $90 million BPL fuel bill left by the Minnis administration. In response, opposition leader Michael Pintard argued that they are well within their rights to criticize the government over its management of BPL.
You promised to come up with a comprehensive plan to take BPL forward. So we are within our rights, notwithstanding any shortcomings and failings that we would have had in the energy space. We are within our rights to now critique you and to raise questions about your stewardship. And one, you have refused to come up with a comprehensive plan, with respect to the development of BPL and the transformation of the energy sector. You failed. Absolutely. 20 months later. And your board could not come up with, the minister could not come up with, the Minister of Finance could not come up with a comprehensive plan with respect to BPL. You failed. You failed to protect Bahamian consumers and Bahamian businesses that tell you that the cost of electricity is an albatross around their necks. So what have you done? You've gotten recommendations on a hedge program which you refused to follow, and when you realized the mistake was massive, you then lied about it.
The former Prime Minister, Dr. Hubert Minnis, pointed out that his administration discovered that the generators at BPL were not being maintained properly under the Christie administration, which led to many of the challenges related to power outages. He also reminded that his administration increased BPL's power generation capacity by 160 megawatts to 325 megawatts, thus eliminating the need to load shed. He said when it comes to BPL, the Davis administration has seemingly taken steps backwards.
The bill seeks to amend the Notary's Public Act to establish the duration and validity of licenses issued in accordance with the Act. It also seeks to provide for a grace period of 1 month between the expiry of a license and the time to renew. The third clause of the bill also seeks to insert new sections 6A, 6B, 6C, which provide for the renewal date for applications made before or after the date of expiry of a license. It seeks to exempt certain licensees from the payment of renewal fees. It seeks to waive arrears of unpaid fees for the exempt licensees and provide for the pausing and resumption of offering notarial services. The bill's fourth clause seeks to provide for the limited extension of the exemption and waiver of fees to licensees who would have qualified for the exemption or waiver of renewal fees prior to the commencement of the Act. I support the bill, Madam Speaker, and hope these changes will help improve the functions of notaries public and the services they provide in the country.
And finally, in this segment, a 34-year-old Bahamian male was arraigned Thursday in connection with that $9 million cocaine bust that took place on Deadman's Key, Long Island, June 23rd. Andretti Anwar Nixon of Miami Street appeared before Acting Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley to answer to those charges. Nixon pleaded not guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to possess dangerous drugs, 1 count of conspiracy to import dangerous drugs, and 1 count of abetment to import dangerous drugs. Prior to this arraignment, Nixon's co-accusers, ex-Royal Bahamas Police Force officer Harry Dose, along with 3 Mexican men, were charged with the same offenses. Nixon was granted bail in the amount of $50,000 with 2 sureties. He was ordered to be outfitted with an ankle monitor. All 4 men are expected to return to court on September 4th for trial. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.